This year, I want you guys to come study in Canada. Statistics are showing that Canada is receiving, you know, huge populations of international students. So, with the pause that we had there with the express entry and with the competitiveness of the express entry, a lot of people are looking to come to Canada through the international study streams, and Canada is admitting international students in huge numbers. So make sure you are not left behind. So for this 2023, I want us to do, focused approaches to the way we do things, even on the way I do my videos. I want to offer you very tangible help this year. So help me God. And so here today, I want to tell you why you should actually come and study in Saskatchewan, either in 2023 or in 2024, just in case you are finding that you're late for 2023 and you're planning on how to come to Canada study in 2024. This video is for you. So are you the one who wants to come study? Do you have a child? Do you know a friend? Do you know a relative who wants to study in Canada? Kindly invite them, share this video with them. And I want to ask you, have you subscribed? If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. For those ones who have, thank you so much. My name is Lois. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, and I am based here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Now, why do you want to come study in Saskatchewan? I want to encourage you to study in Saskatchewan, and I want to give you the advantages as to why you should be choosing the province of Saskatchewan. First and foremost, where is the province of Saskatchewan? I know a lot of you can't even pronounce that name. It's Saskatchewan, okay? They have fancy names like Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, and Regina. So those are the two main cities in the province of Saskatchewan, that is Saskatoon and Regina. So now, guys, I want to give you the advantages and why I think Saskatchewan should be your next student destination. Number one, the most important reason as to why I'm recommending this is because Saskatchewan has, I think, the best provincial nomination programs in this country. And I'll be talking about provincial nomination programs later in the next video actually, but it has a really good provincial nomination program for people who have studied in Saskatchewan, and we're going to go through that provincial nomination stream just so that you understand it, so that if you're planning to come study or you're sending your child to Canada to study, you know exactly how they will transition from being a student to a permanent resident in Canada, if that is their goal. And I say if that's their goal because not everybody has a goal of settling in Canada after their studies, but if that is any of your goal as a future international student in Canada, then Saskatchewan has the best transition from student to PR, okay? Then the other one, it has really good universities and colleges. There are not many, but those ones which are there are high quality, and they are quite cheap. They are quite affordable. I have seen some courses at the University of Saskatchewan that, like master's programs, that cost about 10,000 Canadian dollars. I have actually seen one that was like 8,000 Canadian dollars. Okay, so if you know what it is you're looking for, if you know the right course for you, because not everybody should be doing every course that is being offered or that is cheap, because you still have the visa officer to convince, but it has some of the cheapest courses available in this country. Number three is employability. Saskatchewan has very good employability rates for people who reside there, even for international students, and their wages are quite decent when compared to other provinces in Canada. You find that the wages in Saskatchewan are just slightly below the wages in Alberta, and they are quite good. And I like, the life in Saskatchewan is quite chilled, and they have a very good balance, good life work balance, and they have good quality of life. I know there's a downside that it's a little cold, but come on, Canada is cold, guys. Don't make an immigration decision based on the weather in this country, otherwise you're going to be really, really, really disappointed. Now, last but not least, just to recap on the immigration programs, if you come to study in Saskatchewan and you become a permanent resident, you will have very good chances of being able to invite your tribe, or rather to sponsor your tribe down the road when you become a permanent resident. So you find that they have a sponsorship program that allows you to invite, or rather support, the applications of your immediate family members. Okay, so which are the top universities? Again, I say they don't have a lot of universities, but you're going to find that there is University of Saskatchewan, there's also University of Regina, there's Briarcrest College and Seminary, and there's Saskatchewan Polytechnic. And Saskatchewan Polytechnic actually has, I think, 4 campuses. There's one in Moose Jaw, there's another one in Regina, another one in Saskatoon, and there's also another one in Prince Albert. So those are 4 main polytechnics, and I'm telling you, polytechnic education in Canada is highly regarded. Don't just, I know some of us come from places whereby polytechnics are not highly regarded, but polytechnics in Canada are highly regarded and they offer quality education. Actually, a lot of people do prefer to go to polytechnics or even vocational colleges, or community colleges, than going to universities because of the skill oriented way of learning. Okay guys, so and those are just some of the colleges. It has other colleges. I know they have like the Northwest College, the Great Plains College, etc. Take your time to go through the province of Saskatchewan and see which colleges are classified under the designated learning institutions, because if you want to come here as an international student, you want to come to a DLI classified institution so that you can qualify for a postgraduate work permit. Okay, now let's just talk about how you will transition, and that's why I said why you should come here as a student. I want to give you a picture of how you will transition, and actually why I prefer this province over a lot of provinces. This is not the only province that I recommend. I'll be telling you about the advantages of various provinces, but I'm focusing on Saskatchewan because it's quite easy to transition from being a student to a permanent resident. Okay, the other thing is that these guys don't even necessarily discriminate you on age or languages, especially when you have studied in that province. Okay, so as a student, how then do you become a permanent resident? This is a program that you should be focusing on if you're planning to come study. I always tell you, before you come to Canada, figure out if you want to go back home, make sure that you understand the province, the pathway through which you will become a permanent resident. So the requirements now, the eligibility for the student stream, this is a sub stream under the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program, that is SINP. We want to focus on the student subcategory. So what do you need? You need to have graduated from a recognized post-secondary institution in Saskatchewan, and it doesn't matter whether that was a certificate, a diploma, or a degree. Okay, and then you must have worked for a minimum of 6 months, that is paid employment in Saskatchewan. And believe it or not, eligible types of work experience are some work experience that you gained on campus, off campus, co-op programs, graduate fellowships, and work experience gained on postgraduate work permit. All that is work experience that is relevant. And in most provinces, the work experience you gained while you're in school is not counted as relevant work experience in this country. Okay, and then you must be holding a current valid postgraduate work permit. So you must have graduated. That is what that means. You must have graduated from an institution and applied and be granted a postgraduate work permit. That is an easy process. Okay, so you must also have a permanent full-time job offer in your field from an approved Saskatchewan employer. So the job should always be in an occupation that fits the tier 01, 2, or 3, or in a designated trade. Okay, that job must also be related to your field of study and requires at least a post secondary education. Okay, my friends. And then you must have a valid SINP job approval letter. So employers who are providing that must be registered with the SINP to be able to get the job approval letter. Okay. And then I told you this program doesn't really disqualify on language, because the minimum language score needed is a CLB4. Come on, guys. Almost everybody can get a CLB4 if you can speak some English. So it doesn't mean that you cannot apply to this program if you did not graduate from the province of Saskatchewan. There are people who find themselves stuck having studied in other provinces, but then they realize that they cannot immigrate to those provinces, and therefore they move to Saskatchewan to see whether they can immigrate through this subcategory. So let's say you graduated from Alberta, but you can't find a program here in Alberta. You can always move to Saskatchewan, and you have to meet the requirements, and the requirements are just slightly different than the ones that we just discussed for graduates of Saskatchewan. We said for the graduates of Saskatchewan, you have to have graduated from a post-secondary institution in Saskatchewan, that is a certificate or degree or diploma. There's no minimum time required. But for the other people who didn't graduate in the province of Saskatchewan, your course that you graduated in must have been at least one academic year. Okay, and that is anywhere outside Saskatchewan, and you must have attained at least a certificate, a diploma, or a degree. Okay, and then you must be currently holding a postgraduate work permit, excuse me, and you must have worked after graduation with your postgraduate work permit for at least 6 consecutive months on paid employment in Saskatchewan. Now that is the catch. You must have worked in Saskatchewan for at least 6 months in a job that is related to your field of study. Okay, you must also have a permanent full-time job offer in your field of study from a Saskatchewan employer in the occupations or tier O1, 2, 3, or a designated trade. So the courses must be related to your field of study, and that occupation must require post-secondary education. Okay, and then of course you must have a valid SINP job approval letter, and you must have a minimum language ability of CLB4 for those who are looking for jobs in tier 4 and 5. So of course the other higher tiers, you need a higher CLB, that is the Canadian language benchmark. You know, I'm going to answer a question here, because there are people who are always asking me, Lois, I got denied my asylum case. Can I apply for this program, or can I apply for any program? For this program, you cannot apply if you are a refugee claimant in Canada and you are already in Canada who is claiming for asylum. So you cannot change your mind and say, hey, I have my refugee application ongoing, can I apply for this program? No, you cannot combine those programs. And you also cannot apply to this program if you have not completed your program of study in Canada. So the requirement is either whether you studied in Saskatchewan or outside Saskatchewan, you must have graduated, my friend. Okay, all right. So I hope that gives you, an idea of how to transition, because when I talk to people, they tell me, Lois, I really don't understand what it is you mean with a pathway. A pathway means that before you leave home, always ask yourself, okay, fine, I'm going to Canada to study, but how will I become a permanent resident? Because there's a lot of people who actually come here to study and have to go home because they cannot find a good program, or rather they were ill-advised and they came, they graduated, but then they don't have a direct pathway to PR, and it's usually such a shame to see that someone came all the way, they invested a lot of money, they invested a lot of time, and now they have to go home because, come on, there's no hope or future for them. Okay guys, so thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned, like, share, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.